Huge plans for John Cena at WrestleMania? Shane McMahon shunned my review of a packed episode of Raw, and beat still my 2013 cash-in heart. Dolph Ziggler's music hit on WWE TV. I'm Ollie Davis, and this is the WrestleTalk News.
Support WrestleTalk!
Give us a subscribe. The 17th of November episode of Raw saw John Cena's last ever appearance on WWE TV. While he does have 2 more dates left, they won't be on traditional broadcast television. His Intercontinental title rematch against Dominic Mysterio will be at Survivor Series on ESPN Plus Extra 2.0 Direct, and his final show, Saturday night's main event, will stream on Peacock Premium OTT Solutions Alpha Omega 9. Cena's retirement will happen on the 13th of December, finally ending a 25-year plus wrestling career. After which, we'll have to wait about 4 months till we see him again, because the Wrestling Observer is reporting Cena is very likely to be the headline inductee into the 2026 Hall of Fame, which takes place on WrestleMania weekend. Odds have already been posted as to who could induct Cena, with CM Punk, Triple H and Randy Orton being listed, but the current favourite is Rock the Dwayne Johnson, which could set them both up for a cameo segment at WrestleMania 42 in Las Vegas. One name has already been announced for the 2026 Hall of Fame, way earlier than WWE normally starts revealing these things, because at September's WrestlePalooza, Stephanie McMahon was surprised by the awkward taker as the class's first inductee. Poor old Shane McMahon, meanwhile, doesn't even get featured on episodes of Raw he's in the building for. Cena's last episode of Raw took place in New York's Madison Square Garden. MSG is as close to a hometown base WWE gets, with New York being their historic main market and their headquarters being up the road in Connecticut, which is likely why Stephanie McMahon made an appearance on the show, being shown sitting next to Hamilton creator Lin-Manuel Miranda midway through the episode. New York Giants football players, obligatory Netflix comedians, and the excellent Eric Andre were also shown in the crowd. But one very noteworthy person in attendance wasn't featured. Stephanie's brother Shane, who posted on his Instagram, "Honoured to be at MSG with my son Rogan to celebrate a true legend in the business, and my friend. Hashtag Thank you, Cena," complete with a red-faced selfie and, "Oh my god, they've cloned Vince McMahon into a teenager's body!" A video view from Shane's seat showed they were seated several rows behind the commentary desk. Shane's last WWE appearance was at WrestleMania 39 in 2023, where he made his surprise return for an impromptu match against The Miz and immediately tore his quad. Snoop Dogg improvised and won the match for him instead. Why is that not in any of WWE's Mania video packages? Since then, though, his name has fallen out of favour with the new TKO-led regime, who seem keen to distance themselves from McMahon men, or McMahon for short. The TKO sale was complete later that year in 2023, and Vince was ousted the following January. Following that, Shane started flirting with a move to AEW, where we even exclusively broke a photo of him meeting with AEW president Tony Khan. Some speculated Shane was never seriously considering going to AEW. It was just a ploy to get the new TKO WWE to bring him back. That still hasn't happened though, and given he wasn't shown on Raw, perhaps they don't intend to. Now here's my review of Monday Netflix Raw in about 5 minutes. You wait 6 months for WWE to do a genuinely great episode of Raw, and then you get 2 back-to-back. Triple H's creative run since WrestleMania has been lackluster. Big swings like Cena's heel turn didn't work, and week-to-week TV fell into a formulaic, predictable pattern. 20-minute Vision promo, DQ finishes, main event of CM Punk, Jey Uso and or LA Knight losing to Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker. SummerSlams and Paloozas came and went, making little difference. But now, feels like we can be hopeful again. Survivor Series is now the road to WrestleMania. And Cena's retirement, plus the combined star power of this year's War Games, WWE feels the biggest it has since April. It feels important again. The episode opened with John Cena's last ever WWE TV appearance. And despite Triple H not introducing him with an overly long promo on why his opinion matters more than mine, the MSG audience still managed to explode. The template is both simple and established. Expectant quiet for several seconds, then Cena's music hits. That's all you need. Cena, with his freshly won Intercontinental Championship and typically weird promo style, said, "Boy, Do I welcome that enthusiasm? He was about to speak from the heart when that dastardly, dirty Dominic Mysterio interrupted him. He wanted a rematch for the IC title he lost last week, which Cena agreed to right now. But in heel fashion, Dom declined. He wants it on his terms, on his turf, with Survivor Series being in San Diego. A smart geographical mirror to Cena beating him last week in his home state of Boston. Cena accepted, ruling him out of a rumoured War Games babyface team spot, but he still wanted a match right now. This set up an incredibly fun house show style six-man of Cena, Sheamus and Rey Mysterio versus Dom, Finn Balor and JD McDonough. Cena got the hot tag, there was a three-way beats of the Bodhrán, aka 30 beats of the Bodhrán. Quick maths, a three-way five-knuckle shuffle, aka a 15-knuckle shuffle. Quicker maths. And even a double 619, it's more than 1,200. Approximate maths for Cena to finish with an AA to win. And that was that. Aside from a weirdly corporate Cena talking head pulled from a longer interview they played later on, where John talked about pleasing consumers, this was his last appearance ever on WWE Raw. There's definitely an argument that the rest of the show was used to build the present and the future, and keeping Cena off those parts was the right idea, and I see the value in that. But doing a glorified house show match, as fun as it was, felt like it could have been more special, particularly with all the people he had history with in the ring in the main event segment, like Punk, Cody, Roman and Lesnar. Personally, I would have liked to see him interact in some way one last time with them. Easier said than done though, as everyone would then think he'd just joined the babyface team for War Games. Another match was then made official for Survivor Series, with Nikki Bella jumping Stephanie Vaquer as she came out for an in-ring interview. They'll face each other for the Women's Championship at the PLE. I don't care. Solo Sikoa then came out to face his mystery opponent in the Last Time Is Now tournament. And even though I can watch him most Thursdays on TNA, hot damn, hearing Dolph Ziggler's music hitting like that made me feel like it was the early 2010s when anything was possible. The crowd exploded and was super hot for the match. Ultimately, it followed a very similar layout to the Zack Ryder match from SmackDown. Dolph got the majority of the offense and a few near falls, but as the NXT working relationship has proven, WWE isn't going to put TNA over their own when it counts. Solo hit one spike to get the clean victory. Alexa Bliss then came down to the ring to cut a pleading promo to Charlotte. Ever since Flair said she doesn't trust Rhea Ripley and thinks she's a snake on SmackDown, Charlotte hasn't returned Alexa's calls. After everything they've been through this year, has Flair broken up with Bliss? Even though there's a definite reason for that happening, their tag title loss to the Kabuki Warriors last week, it all feels like a bit of contrived jeopardy to give a bit of babyface drama going into the War Games match. The crowd didn't really buy it, unfortunately giving Alexa the what treatment throughout her speech. The heel team attacked her, which brought out Ripley and Io Sky, but it was Charlotte with a kendo stick who fully saved Alexa. She hugged Bliss and then smiled and pointed at Rhea and Io, implying she's in War Games again. Glad that was sorted out super easily, barely an inconvenience. Bayley, however, isn't, as she turned down Asuka's offer to join the heels backstage. So both sides will need one more member each from another feud. Enter Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. Capping off their surprisingly excellent TV feud, Maxine Dupree beat Becky Lynch for a third consecutive time, but now with the IC title on the line. They've done such a great job building their rivalry. This was my most anticipated match of the night. Dupree got the ankle lock in, complete with grapevine. She got a boot on the ropes off a manhandle slam. Becky was getting frustrated and started to expose the turnbuckle, but that brought out AJ Lee, presumably Maxine's friend she referenced the previous week, which distracted Becky enough for Maxine to hit a top rope crossbody to win and become the new IC champion. Yes, Maxine's finisher is a top rope crossbody. News to me, I've never seen her win a match. While this was the least best of their three matches, and I'm not fully confident there will be a good follow-up for Maxine's championship reign, this has been a home run of a program for me, and it gives us some much needed unpredictability outside the major PLEs, with this being the third title change in the last two episodes of Raw. Later on, as Maxine was celebrating with Otis and Akira backstage, Rhea Ripley asked AJ Lee if they could chat. setting up Lee as the 5th member of the babyface War Games team, and presumably Becky as the same for the heels. The actual best match of the night, though, was Gunther, complete with his old music, CEO, 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 versus Javon Evans in the Last Time Is Now tournament. Gunther's bully persona was the perfect foil for Javon's plucky underdog, making a fiery comeback and even kicking out of a powerbomb. But Gunther, the reported winner of the whole tournament, made him tap in the sleeper. Bodyslam.net has reported multiple executives in WWE believe Evans is not only the present, but also the future of the company, which means under Triple H, he might actually get a main roster win sometime in 2028. And the main event was pretty much just entrances. But sometimes that's all you need to be perfectly sports entertained. The Vision were in the ring, complete with added Drew McIntyre because it's War Games season and him being randomly included is now a meme. And they were interrupted by CM Punk, the Usos, and Cody Rhodes for a brawl. This brought out the 5th man Paul Heyman had teased earlier in the night. Brock Lesnar walked down, weirdly dressed very similarly to CM Punk, and laid everyone out. The executive producer credits flashed up on screen, and even 10 years after Triple H first did that, he's still working me, because the show wasn't over. Roman Reigns' music hit. Credit where credit's due. Triple H has made me actually excited for a Roman Brock stare down in 2025. But rather than the standard Roman stands tall and gurns, the chaos just continued. Roman beat up Brock, but Bronson Reed attacked Roman. They fought outside where Reigns then speared about 5 NYPD officers into the timekeeper's area as the show went off air. This was another awesome episode of Raw at 86%. But Ziggler isn't the only WWE return. Is Zack Ryder fully back with the company? Click the video on screen now to find out more.